Greetings, thank you for joining me today. Well, we've got a stressful day tomorrow, haven't we? 26th of March here in the UK. It's a mini budget. Or in other words, for what cuts are coming next. Yeah, don't look forward to it. Don't look forward to it one little bit. It doesn't bode well, does it? Current government not doing particularly well, not as well as I thought they'd do. Last time we saw a Labour government, they weren't too bad. But this time around, they've been, well, not so effective, let's put it like that. Still better than the Conservatives, mind you, but we live in restricted times. Though. We're not allowed to protest, we're not allowed to speak our mind, although some people really need that to keep a lid on it because of the things that might come out of their mouth and the rights they might incite. Fair enough, I suppose, but we still feel now restricted and unable to protest, even just to march in the streets. Now, the UK has a deep history of protesting against things that we don't like. Now France did it the best. Obviously, they got rid of their monarchy, but the Brits have been known to protest quite a lot. In recent decades. About many things. From the Luddites up to present day, we've been protesting because we have a moral backbone and we stand up for what is right. That's what unites us all, is the feeling that we should stand up for what is right, a feeling of community. Now, if you lose that feeling of community, you should start looking for it. This is my take on it. Over in the States, we're seeing community get into action. The Trump regime causing so much damage from within that country, clearly in the pay of Russia. My opinion, if you disagree, let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you nutcases. But you know who you are, guys. You know who you are. Come on. Trump is in the pay of Russia. I guarantee you that. You're no saviour. But anyway, there are plenty of protests in all the states. They're not being covered well by the media, though, because I'm guessing the media doesn't want the reprisals from what is the most vindictive regime you've seen yet. By the same token, here in the UK, we're encouraged to sit on our hands, not protest, not vocally protest, not go and incite violence. Lots of rules, and you can end up in jail if you say the wrong thing online. We've all got to be very careful. But there are things you can do. So they say, well, don't protest. Keep your mouth shut, keep stum. Okay. I can still protest. We can all still protest. And we protest with our wallets. We all burn through a fair bit of cash subsidising these businesses, big businesses, that don't really give back to the community, that don't pay their fair share of taxes, whether it's telecoms companies, whether it's the water companies, whether it's utilities like the gas and electric, oil providers, fuel for vehicles. We all subsidise these guys. We all put lots and lots of our money into their profits. Does that have to continue? I don't think so. Now, I watched some of the inauguration of the Trump, and of course sitting behind him were all the usual stinkers, the ones you expect, the likes of Bezos and the Facebook guys and all that. They were all there, all the billionaires, and of course Musk being a big old Nazi. I call it as I see it. You do a Nazi salute, you're a Nazi. It's as simple as that. And all the other things he says and does, We're not just going on rumour, it's literally watching a guy do his thing. Wielding a chainsaw and making massive cuts to public services. That's not the action of someone who's publicly, civically minded. That's not the action of anyone but a traitor. Now, we're seeing lots of protests across the states because of this. And the only way to protest that they will notice, they will understand, because they don't have a soul, because they don't have feelings, is to hit them in the wallet. We have a choice about whether we buy things online. We have a choice to subscribe to services. We have a choice. We always have a choice. Now, we don't necessarily have a choice on the amount of electricity or gas we use to heat our homes or keep ourselves cool, depending on where you live. We don't have a choice about that, but we can sure rein back on a whole bunch of other things. There are always ways to spend less. When a business like a supermarket says, we're going to rein back on staff, we're going to cut down on staff numbers because it costs so much to employ people, we have to pay them more, we have to pay them a living wage. Diddums, boo-hoo. Those same supermarkets make massive, massive profits. Now some say, well, okay, they can do this. They avoid tax. Yeah, but should they? Should they? We can all speak to our local MPs. We can all do other things. So just not shop there. If I see a supermarket that's all self-service tills, I don't shop there. I go somewhere where I've got staff that I can talk to, interact with, even if it's only slightly. I reward businesses that invest in their staff. I will not reward businesses for sacking staff. It's as simple as that. And if you hold shares in these businesses, well, I know it's a costly thing to do, but it might be a good time to get rid of those shares before the backlash starts. You might cause a run on the shares, you might cause problems for that business, but maybe lessons will be learned, because we can't keep going this way. You can automate the living daylights out of pretty much anything, but is it the right thing to do? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so I think going forward we could all do more to hit the billionaires where it hurts them, in the pockets. Our smart ones are going to start to change the way they work. The smart ones have already changed the way they work. The smart ones pay their staff a living wage, have the right benefits in place for their employees, the right attitude to employment and work-life balance. The businesses that count have that already. Others, you've got a bit of a learning curve coming on. So I'm here for the high street. I'm here for more shops. I want to see a high street with more banks in it, more physical bricks and mortar banks. Yes, I know you can do a lot online. I know these apps are wonderful, but and they're mostly secure. But there is still a place for a bricks and mortar banking institution. There's still a place for shops where you can go and physically touch stock. This is the way real business is done. When I was a young lad, I went for an interview for a bank that's no longer with us, and they were swallowed up by another bank, and a banking scandal involving shares. I'll leave you to guess which one that was. But the bank manager I spoke to as he interviewed me says, well, look, a lot of what we do in the branch is about the physical interaction with the customers. You get to know them by face, you get to know their names and put the names to the faces, and you get to see over the years, see whether they manage the bank accounts properly. It's about prudence in the long term. And if you have a customer who's been a customer of the bank for several years, and you get to know them week by week because they come in, do whatever banking they need to do face to face, you get an idea of who they are. So when they come calling for a bank loan or a bank mortgage, you know about them. You have a visceral feeling for whether they'll be able to pay back, what their intent is, and less toxic loans were agreed because of this hands-on approach. Because if this hands-on approach of getting to know the customer properly, as they call it, KYC, know your customer in the industry, it's one thing to ask for all the right documents, and there's a merit to that. It's another thing to look at the audit trails, see where the money's come from and going to. That tells you a lot about what your customers are like and who they are and how trustworthy they are and whether they should be sanctioned or not, yada yada yada. But that next level of security is getting to know them face to face, getting to know them instead of there being a number and a name. You know the face, and that way, if Mr. So-and-so comes in and takes out a certain amount of money each week and he goes and does his shopping with that, you get to know that he comes in, he talks to you, what you're going to do today, and to and fro, you get to know what he's like. If he suddenly comes in all distraught, number one, you recognise him because you deal with him every week. You get to recognise an unusual transaction for him. Some people don't signal these things. Some people come in with a transaction that they're being forced to do by some form of robber, and it happens. It happens. Staff would better spot it if they understand the customer better, if they meet the customer week after week. They'll know who it is. They won't allow for an unknown to come in and draw from a known customer's account, because they will know the identification criteria hasn't been met. They will take steps because it's a personal thing. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. And I say this because people talk to me. People talk to me all the time. I'm very, very lucky in the work that I do. And when I get to talk to people, I find out what people believe in, where people spend their money. And what I've noticed the most recently is a reining back on people. They say, well, we know what can cut. If I've got to pay certain bills, I've got to pay things that are important to me, I will cut the subscription services. I will cut the online shopping. They'll cut the fast food with the big chains. They'll cut a lot, because there's a lot to cut. And what they're left with is that spending cash they should be spending elsewhere more thoughtfully, or just keeping to themselves for a while. And if we all do that, if we all push back against the rising tide of automation and go online, then I think the world will be a better place. Anyway, whatever you do, have a great day. See you soon. Bye for now.